Miraculous Ladybug has a reputation when it comes to designs, specifically that they aren't especially good. Look up Miraculous Ladybug designs and there are just so many videos about redesigning the character as either in or out of costume. And you know, the crazy thing is, I think a big part of that perception is Ladybug's fault. Her costume is so basic that they give her a random redesign attached to a random kind of pointless power-up that she doesn't even use properly. You can create anything, why do you lose so much on my second channel? The way the show describes it, you should basically be Green Lantern. But then there are the villains, who all range from great to so baffling people who watch the show make fun of the fact that the main villain is apparently a famous fashion mogul. Now, I am not a fashion designer, so I kinda just watch other people who say this and go, okay. But my point is, the designs aren't considered that big a deal. But then Thomas Astruc, the creator of the show, if you weren't aware, did an interview in French. But the main points were translated and dropped on Reddit, and I'm going to assume that it's accurate. Now, a few of the points did catch my eye. I've already given my thoughts on Chloe's redemption, Andre's redemption, Chat Noir's main character status, hell, even Zoe. But what I've been thinking about for the last few weeks is the detail that the akumatized villains create their own costumes. Like, we already knew the heroes determined their looks, but the confirmation that it's not Gabe, but his victims controlling their outfits changes a lot. It makes their designs so much more interesting because some of them are made so much better by that detail, and a few raise some questions. So let's talk about some of them. The first character who comes to my mind is Jula and her constant transformations into Reflector. I always thought this particular villainess's look was a bit much and kind of like a clown. Massive plastic looking hair, the huge collar and dress, and it's covered in eyes. But considering Jula was akumatized over her anxiety in regards to never taking a good picture, the outfit is immediately so much better because, well, it's a huge cry for people to look at her and notice her. Reflector is considered overused, but considering Jula's transformations are largely tied to her insecurities, it makes sense she keeps transforming into her. And every bit of it that seems a bit much is now directly a result of Jula's own deeply emotional desire to be seen. If Gabriel designed this, I doubt he'd have gone so extreme. Also, she lives on a boat that her mom sails around I believe it's the scene, so it's just kind of poetic that when put inside a mech, she decides, you know what, I'm going to captain this like a ship. It also seems to imply that Jula considers her own style to be part of the problem, as she goes from black and purple to white and a very bright red. And that makes Purple Tigress, her heroic form, so much better from a character standpoint. But not every outfit is so deep. Lady Wi-Fi's outfit is honestly pretty basic. I mean, what can I say about it? The black and white color is an okay combination. If I was really fishing for something, I'd point out that it's very similar in structure to the Ladybug outfit, and Alia's trying to unmask Chloe as Ladybug. A plot point that only gets more ludicrous the more you think about it. Then again, Alia might just not be creative. Her furtive disguise being her idea of a stealth outfit is pretty baffling for someone whose power is controlling illusions. And then there's Chloe, whose villain outfits are pretty much entirely defined by the heroes, but in a much cleverer way. Antibug is simply an inversion of Ladybug's suit, representing her short-lived anger at her hero. And Queen Wasp is basically an inversion of Queen Bee. But after she uses the Bee Miraculous, Chloe's villain transformations conspicuously gain a yellow basis, representing her yearning for what she considers her Miraculous. The only exceptions to this trend are when the plan is for people to not realize she's been akumatized with Queen Male and Soul Destroyer, who conspicuously looks a lot like Zoe's Soul Crusher form, but shinier. And isn't it just like Chloe to get akumatized into a glittery, brighter version of the villain the sister who just pissed her off turned into recently, just to show her up? Especially when both designs seem to take inspiration from the mother who neglects them so much, and her transformation into Style Queen. With all this in mind, as much as I love Penal Team's designs, I kind of wish it was different to show Chloe's rejection of her heroic alter ego now that she's fully betrayed Ladybug and the team. It's crazy how even after being flanderized, Chloe's still one of the show's most complex characters. Though sometimes, simple is simply better. The mime's transformation turns Fred into a muscly, villainous version of the role he lost due to betrayal. Robustus doesn't change that much outside of color, representing his anger, but it makes sense that an AI wouldn't go that much out of its way for more superficial changes. This seems to be pretty consistent too, because while Ada's acclimatization into Bug Fighter allowed her to turn the spaceship into a robot, she herself just turned purple, presumably out of self-loathing. And for as dumb as I thought the episode was, and it being dumb on purpose doesn't make it better, Superman's outfit is meant to be simple. Though Roland is not uncreative, everything about Bakerix is great, and a wonderful reference to Asterix the Gaul. If you're hung up on tradition, it makes sense you transform into an ancient French warrior. Okay, that sentence is kinda crazy because nothing about what I just said makes any sense. But some of the outfits do have their own shares of being just absolutely baffling. Like Kung Fu, which to this day has some fans wondering, was that racist? Who knows, maybe Wang Chang is a big Dragon Ball fan. At least he has some Monkey King references with his face markings, which is a more likely place a Chinese person would turn to for inspiration than the guy inspired by Sun Wukong. Then there's Heart Hunter, which, I don't know, regardless of motive, I find it hard to believe Andre, and especially Audrey, would be willing to be that close to each other while fighting. Like, do you think Audrey would willingly choose to be a part of this? And to contrast that, we have Ali and Nino both turning into Oblivio, who has a pretty basic design, but is also a result of two people wanting to make others forget the embarrassing thing they were caught doing, so it makes sense that the most unforgettable part of its design is how forgettable it is. But let's get back to the interesting ones, like Star Train. She's interesting because she can't move and is literally welded to the front of the massive train she's flying, which signifies a very single-minded approach to accomplishing her dream. Why would she possibly want to go when she can just stay in place and finally explore the stars as an astronaut? Plus, this is the one Akuma Hawkmoth has zero control over, so it makes sense that she doesn't have a way to like get up and go looking for Ladybug and Chat Noir. It's quite lucky they were already on board, to be honest. It's an interesting trait that actually appears more than once. During Bob Roth's short-lived acclimatization into Mulak, he literally trapped himself in a flying safe full of gold coins, incapable of doing anything besides accrue more wealth, which is frankly a more interesting interpretation of greed than I've seen in some other shows. Then there's Party Crasher, who is dressed exactly how I would expect Wayhem to picture flamboyant partygoer. The disco design of the villain is a great combination of the outfit style and Party Crasher's prediction abilities. With the pink afro, pink mustache and stylish glasses, it's a look that really screams, "Bet you regret not inviting me to your party now." Silencer's whole deal is stealing and using voices while trying to get justice against a corrupt music producer who stole his band's music. So the decision for him to look like a techno DJ makes all too much sense. I'm gonna have to dock points though, because so many of the images that come up when I Google DJ helmet look far cooler than this. What do you think of the show's designs, and are there any you look at differently after watching this video? Tell me in the comments below. I may make a follow-up depending on how well this video does, so don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe and share this with all your friends who like Miraculous Ladybug. Thank you and good day.